Welcome everyone, join us today as we honor the life and career of Donald Fagen, the genius behind Steely Dan, whose unique sound and vision has left an unforgettable mark and impact on music. So let's dive in. Donald J. Fagen, born January 10, 1948, in Passaic, New Jersey, United States of America. Donald's parents, Joseph and Eleanor, were of Russian Jewish descent, and his father worked as an accountant, while his mother, a homemaker, with a background in singing, had once dreamed of a musical career herself. Though her ambitions never came to fruition, she passed her love of music on to Donald, nurturing the artistic side that would shape his future. When Donald was 8, the family moved to Kendall Park, in the New Jersey suburbs. The shift away from his extended family, combined with the conformity of suburban life in the 1950s, left him feeling isolated and restless. Still, it sharpened his observational skills and ironic wit, traits that would later define his lyrics. Soon music quickly became his escape. Drawn to the radio, he soaked up rock and roll, rhythm and blues, and thereafter, most importantly, jazz. A cousin first introduced him to the genre, but it was hearing Duke Ellington at age 11 that truly changed him. Soon, he was staying up late to catch jazz broadcasts out of New York, mesmerized by the sophistication of artists like Charlie Parker, Sonny Rollins, and Miles Davis. By his teens, Donald had begun piano lessons in high school, though he often preferred experimenting on his own, rather than sticking to classical training. He played in small local groups, including a jazz trio, while also immersing himself in beat literature by writers such as Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg. Literature and jazz together gave him a broader sense of identity that stood in stark contrast to the quiet suburbs he often found stifling. After graduating from South Brunswick High School in 1965, Donald enrolled at Bard College, a liberal arts school in Annandale-on-Hudson, New York. When Donald arrived at Bard College in the mid-1960s, the cultural landscape was shifting dramatically. The folk revival was in full swing, the counterculture was exploding, and campuses across America buzzed with new ideas. For Donald, Bard was the environment he had long craved. Nestled along the Hudson River, it was a place where students embraced individuality, experimented with art and politics, and challenged mainstream conventions. Majoring in English literature, Donald threw himself into the intellectual and creative energy around him. He read voraciously, drawing from modernist and beat writers, and his passion for language soon wove itself into his songwriting. Already sharp and sardonic, Bard gave him the platform to fuse that worldview with music. The defining moment of his college years came when he met Walter Becker, a guitarist from Queens, with a quiet wit and the same obsession for jazz, blues, and the darker edges of rock. Both were introverted, intelligent, and attuned to life's absurdities. They bonded over jazz icons like Thelonious Monk and Charles Mingus, while embracing the possibilities of rock and pop. Their partnership formed almost instantly, writing songs together. They created material far removed from the commercial pop charts, laced with irony, cryptic lyrics, and sophisticated chord changes. Donald handled keyboards and vocals, while Becker played guitar and shared in the songwriting. This collaboration would define their lives forever. At Bard, Donald also played in student bands, including the Leather Canary, which featured future actor Chevy Chase on drums. Though short-lived and mostly a campus novelty, it gave him early experience as a frontman. He also made frequent trips into New York City, soaking up jazz and rock performances that pushed the boundaries of contemporary music. By the time Donald graduated in 1969 with a degree in English, he and Becker were committed to careers as professional songwriters. Relocating to Brooklyn, they began pitching their material to established artists. By the early 1970s, Donald and Walter Becker had fully committed to their vision of creating a band that combined jazz sophistication with rock sensibilities. Often spending long nights refining chord progressions, experimenting with complex time signatures, and perfecting lyrics, their songwriting was meticulous, every note and phrase carefully considered, every lyric layered with meaning. By 1971, Fagen and Becker had formed Steely Dan, with the name originating from the novel Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs, where it refers to a steam-powered prosthetic penis. Along with guitarist Denny Diaz, drummer Jim Hodder, and bassist Jeff Baxter, singer David Palmer was also added to help alleviate Donald's stage fright as the band's frontman. Initially, Palmer shared lead vocal duties with Donald, but it soon became clear that Donald's unique phrasing, dry humor, and jazzy inflections gave the songs a singular voice. Within months, Palmer stepped aside, leaving Fagen as the primary vocalist. The band quickly developed a reputation in New York for their tight arrangements and studio precision. They performed in local clubs, gradually building a devoted following. By 1972, Steely Dan signed with ABC Records, marking the beginning of a professional recording career. That year, they released their debut album, CantBuyAThrill. The album was an immediate success, blending pop-rock accessibility with sophisticated jazz-influenced arrangements. Hits like Do It Again and Reelin' in the Years showcased Donald's clever, ironic lyrics and unforgettable melodies. Critics praised the album for its intelligence, wit, and musicianship, while the public embraced it for its catchy hooks and polished sound. Following this, Steely Dan embarked on extensive tours across the United States, performing in major cities and college towns. Donald and Becca were meticulous in rehearsals, constantly striving for perfection, which sometimes caused tension with other band members. This perfectionism would eventually lead them to favor studio work over live performance. In 1973, the band released Countdown to Ecstasy, which further refined their sound. While not as commercially successful as their debut, it demonstrated a maturing sophistication in songwriting. Musically, the album incorporated jazz chords, Latin rhythms, and intricate arrangements, earning Steely Dan respect from both critics and fellow musicians. By 1974, the band had begun work on Pretzel Logic, their third album. This record included the hit, Ricky Don't Lose That Number, which became one of Steely Dan's most recognizable songs, and solidified Donald's role as both vocalist and keyboardist extraordinaire. The album was also notable for its use of studio musicians, a practice Donald and Becca would continue for much of the band's career, allowing them to achieve the exact sound they envisioned without compromise. By 1975, Steely Dan had become known not only for their clever lyrics but also sophisticated arrangements. That year, the band released Katie Lied, their fourth album, featuring hits like Black Friday and Bad Sneakers, with Donald's piano and electric piano performances at the forefront. The album's themes, corporate corruption, urban disillusionment, and social satire, reflected Donald's sharp observational skills and wry humor. In 1976, The Royal Scam was released, featuring songs such as Kid Charlemagne and The Fez. Donald's lyrics continued to explore darker aspects of American life. Musically, the album pushed the boundaries of rock, incorporating jazz-influenced chord structures, complex time signatures, and cutting-edge production techniques. The pinnacle of this era arrived in 1977 with Asia, often regarded as the band's masterpiece. The album was a commercial and critical triumph, reaching high positions on international charts and producing iconic tracks like Peg, Josie, and the title track, Asia. Donald's vocals on the album displayed unprecedented control and subtlety, perfectly suited to the album's intricate arrangements. The album earned multiple Grammy nominations and is widely celebrated as a defining work of 1970s sophisticated rock. By 1980, Steely Dan released Gaucho, their seventh studio album. The recording process was famously meticulous, with legal and personal tensions complicating sessions, yet the album achieved critical acclaim. Songs such as Hey 19 and Babylon Sisters showcased Donald's ability to marry sophisticated chord progressions with subtle, poignant storytelling. By the early 1980s, after nearly a decade of groundbreaking albums and global acclaim, Steely Dan entered a period of hiatus. Donald would soon embark on solo projects, exploring new avenues of expression while retaining the intricate, jazz-infused style that had defined his career. In 1982, Donald released his debut solo album, The Nightfly, a semi-autobiographical work, reflecting his youth in 1950s and 1960s New Jersey. Its songs evoked a sense of nostalgia while blending jazz, R&B, and sophisticated pop arrangements, showcasing Donald's signature chordal complexity and smooth, controlled vocal delivery. Standout tracks included IGY What a Beautiful World, New Frontier, and Maxine, each displaying his meticulous attention to detail in both composition and production. During this period, Donald relied on many of the same top-tier session musicians he had collaborated with during Steely Dan's golden era. The Nightfly remains widely regarded as one of the finest solo albums of the 1980s, cementing Donald's status as an innovator in American music. In the late 1980s and 1990s, Donald occasionally reunited with Steely Dan co-founder Becca for selective projects, though the band remained largely inactive. He continued to work as a session musician, producer, and arranger, lending his expertise to other artists while maintaining a low-profile public presence. During this period, Donald also experimented with digital recording technologies, refining his studio craft and exploring new textures in synthesizers and electronic keyboards, which complemented his jazz-influenced compositions. In 1993, Donald and Walter officially reunited Steely Dan, embarking on tours that introduced their complex music to a new generation of fans. The touring ensemble featured top session musicians, delivering the band's intricate arrangements with precision and energy, often revisiting classic hits such as "Reelin' in the Years," "Do It Again," and "Ricky Don't Lose That Number." The same year, Donald released Kamakiriad, a sleek, near-future road trip song cycle, produced by Becker. Its rubbery bass lines, glassy keys, and hyper-detailed arrangements felt like classic Fagen updated for a digital age. Tomorrow's Girls and Countermoon became calling cards, and the album drew Grammy attention for its sonics and craft, signaling that Donald and Becker's creative dialogue had rekindled. The Renaissance culminated in Two Against Nature, in 2000, Steely Dan's first new studio record in 20 years. Full of sly character studies, implacable pocket, and immaculate engineering, it swept the 2001 Grammys, Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Album, Best Engineered Album, Non-Classical, and Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal. That same year, Steely Dan were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, underscoring their influence across jazz rock, pop, R&B, and beyond. Donald and Becker kept the momentum going with Everything Must Go. In 2003, another diamond-cut studio set notable for Becker's droll lead vocal turn-on, Slang of Ages. While the band thrived, Donald continued to till his own garden. Morph the Cat, in 2006, his third solo album, formed a dusky NYC song suite. Post-9/11 meditations about mortality, paranoia, and late-night city life, wrapped in butter-smooth horn charts and rhythm section subtlety. Its 5.1 surround mix later won a Grammy in engineering category, a testament to Donald's lifelong obsession with sound staging and detail. He also pursued kindred spirit collaborations. With Michael McDonald and Boz Scaggs, he co-led the Dukes of September Rhythm Review, from 2010 to 2012, a review of blue-eyed soul, R&B deep cuts, Steely Dan gems, and personal favorites that showcased his curator's ear and elastic taste. Then came Sunken Condos, in 2012, an ultra-slick, late-night solo outing co-produced with Michael Leonhardt, pairing urbane originals with a sinuous cover of Isaac Hayes' Out of the Ghetto. Away from the studio, Donald revealed more of the man behind the work. His essay collection and memoir Eminent Hipsters, in 2013, mixed sharp cultural criticism with personal history, from Jocko Henderson and Henry Mancini to the basement rooms and beat-up pianos that shaped his ears. It read like his lyrics, literate, sardonic, precise. In 2017, the Steely Dan story changed forever with the passing of Walter Becker. Donald honored his friend by keeping the band on the road, leading an elite ensemble under the Steely Dan banner and maintaining the group's exacting musical standards. He also navigated the business and legal complexities that followed Becker's death while remaining a steadfast steward of their songbook. Through the late 2010s and into the 2020s, Donald continued to tour regularly, often presenting full album shows, anchoring multi-night residencies, and appearing on high-profile bills. Archival and catalog projects kept the flame burning for new generations. Box sets like Cheap Christmas, Donald Fagen Complete, in 2017, gathered his solo work in one place, while comprehensive Steely Dan reissues spotlighted the engineering craft that audiophiles have celebrated for decades. Outside of music, Donald's family connections stretched into film and activism. His cousin Alan Rosenberg became an actor and president of the Screen Actors Guild, while cousin Mark Rosenberg was a political activist and later a film producer. In 1993, Donald married songwriter Libby Titus, whom he had first known at Bard College but reconnected with decades later. Titus co-wrote Florida Room on his Kamakiriad album, and Donald often performed with her daughter, Amy Helm, the child of Titus and musician Levon Helm. Sadly, Titus passed away on October 13, 2024. And there you have it, from his jazz-inspired childhood, to co-founding Steely Dan and shaping one of the most distinctive sounds in modern music, Donald's story is one of creativity, intellect, and lasting influence. Though his journey has been complex, his work still continues to this day to inspire musicians, fans and listeners around the world. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this. Take care and bye for now.